Good morning, everyone. We are starting the CTC interview with Sergei. And I just want to say thank you so much because you've been traveling all over the United States and you're finally here in New York, and I appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
So we met through a mutual friend, Yulia Stark, with the European Women's Association. How do you know Yulia?
Actually, I think that's 1 year ago or 1.5. We've met on the same event, which was in Portugal for the investors and startups. So we were mentoring, and we were together in a jury. So we were commenting and giving an advice, and that was our trip to make this connection and to build the relationship. So from the Portugal 1.5 year ago, and starting from that, as from our side, I all the time choosing with whom we are moving forward, and this is all about the energy which we are getting from people, and that was definitely the mutual energy which we've got, and that's how our cooperation and friendship started, and that's actually why I'm here, because of Yulia. Actually, we've met such a great person as you. So
thank you. Well, I'm so glad you're here because she was beautiful on the runway. Did you get to see?
Absolutely.
She was beautiful. I was so impressed. I'm always impressed with her because she really has such great energy. And I'm like you. I really, that's majorly important. And the older I've gotten, the more that's important to me. But I think it always has been since I was even little. But I do want to understand, and I want the audience to understand a little bit about what you do. And I'd like to start, though, with a little bit about you personally, if you don't mind, because we always try to make it a little bit personal so that we can get to know people, because we do have an audience in almost 80 countries. Yeah. And we want to show everyone how wonderful you are. So if you could just tell us a little bit, that would be fantastic.
With a pleasure. So if you don't mind, I will start from the beginning. So
Absolutely.
I'm from Estonia, small country in the Baltics, in the city of Tallinn. So I've been raised in an absolute normal family. I could not say that we've been ever rich or I was some kind of a golden boy, but all the things which we've got by our own. So that's how my trip started. So after that, I was a long time playing basketball. Actually, the basketball was part of my journey from 5 years old, and I've reached actually the good success in terms of the basketball. So I've got to Estonia national team, and I was the only one guy who is natively so basically I was the only guy who could make it in my age, and first time we've got the vice champions of the Europe.
Wow.
So we've got the second place, not the first one, but it was the first time in Estonian history we've reached this success. So in that terms, I could say that basketball played a lot of in my personality. Wow. And I was the guy who was leader, most probably inside and outside of the court. So I was all the time trying to show myself maybe in a better way, and to be honest with the people.
Wait a minute, I have to stop this because I am just shocked right now. So you were a basketball player in Estonia, a professional.
Yeah.
I don't think we knew that.
Yeah, normally I don't tell about that.
Well, it's important to us because we deal with a lot of athletes. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm like, wait a minute. I was hearing noise in the background, and then I was trying to really focus. So you were on one of the first teams over there. Yeah. That's amazing. I always love to look at people when they've been pioneers or they've done something different, because in the United States, we're so used to things coming, I don't want to say easily. I don't think my life has been easy, to be honest, but it's, we're used to basketball, we're used to football, we're used to like everything in other countries, because I've traveled like you, I've worked in so many other countries. This is a big deal.
Yeah, especially on that time when I reached the national team, I didn't have the passport. So I supposed to finish the ninth class, and after that I got a chance to get the passport. So this is the procedure. And yeah, I've needed to work hard to get there.
Yeah.
And there was a study, there was 2 times trains per day. There was the exams separately for this citizenship, etc., etc. But
That's huge.
that's a journey which I faced, and most probably it's raised me as a person. And I'm trying to not to worry about problems. I'm not calling the problems. There are small challenges in our life which we need to overcome. So that's from the beginning. After we started with my partner, actually, I've been in the maritime and logistic business. I was representing almost all cruise lines for the Baltic region, and I was official representative of the Navy, NATO Navy for the Baltics.
Wow,
And,
that's another huge deal. Those are two major things.
Yeah.
They really are, and you're casually going over them, but I love this, and I know this is not your whole story, but the basketball and being on the professional national team is huge. And then you said NATO or?
NATO, Navy.
Wow.
I was winning the tender, and I was the official representative and trusted person who was organizing all the things for the NATO, for the whole the Baltic.
Okay, I had to make sure. Did you hear that, Patrick? We have people in the studio, and I don't know if Clay heard that either. We have our group, our corporate team here, but he was the NATO representative for the Navy, and he was on the first Italian basketball national team in Italy.
Estonia.
Estonia.
Yeah.
Huge. So you're used to doing things that are of influence, is how I'll say this, because I kind of, the older I've gotten, the more I've noticed that some of these things, like when I look at my life, just happen naturally, right? I never used to believe in predestination. My grandmother did. But the older I'm getting and the more things that are happening in my life that I actually don't plan and they just happen, the people of influence I meet, like you, and I mean, I put you on the level with presidents and prime ministers. You know, everyone has different titles and different things, but there's people of influence that make these changes in the world. And you've done that's incredible to me, just so you know.
Thank you. I mean, once again, that's
just your life.
Yeah. And I'm amazed, like what you're doing, but we will continue, and we will come
more
to
about
this
you.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, so basically, most probably I've reached everything which I wanted, and all the time, maybe it's loud words, but I felt that I need to do something much more bigger in my life, and that's what brought me to together with my partner Sergei, who is in Silicon Valley living now. Currently he's also from Estonia.
That's where I get Sergio and Sergei.
Yes.
Because I think I've been on the phone
Two
with
of us.
Yes, there's two of you guys. Yes.
Yeah, and we started the business together, so we built together like over 20 companies in iGaming. We've built first crypto advertising platform. Then we were one of the co-founders of the biggest iGaming company, actually, which is now official sponsor of the football club Arsenal. There are like 800 plus employees up there, and they're like $1 billion company.
It's the official sponsor of what?
Of football club Arsenal.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so we've done a lot of interesting things. We've built together a lot of teams, and we're proud that none of the teams and the companies we've built actually were ruined, and they're operating so far. And I think that's something which is showing to us that seems like we are doing something in a correct way. So after that, we've got our we call it cash cows, which are bringing in equity. We understand that we need to diversify our activities, so we have opened our family office called Server Partners, and we invest our own money into the verticals which we want to have a part and to be influential. So this is the space technologies, these are the longevity, and the Web3 space. So these are the verticals so far.
Yeah, because I remember you guys talking about the longevity, and to Yulia, because I did patents that reverse reverse aging, basically regenerate the hair, skin, and nails, and also help with the land, air, and water and animals. So that's now I'm remembering that we all, this is where this kind of started, because you guys basically invest in things like this. Yeah.
So all the early stage companies as well for the longevity, who is trying to get cancer treatments, the way how to do that, Alzheimer, etc., etc. So that's what is driving us, and we want to be a part of that.
Yeah,
because that's
it's a huge topic.
Yeah.
It's a huge. Actually, I don't think people realize. It's become like when I go into meetings, like you're billionaires and I always say women are people of influence, right? I deal with a lot of women of influence, but I also deal with a lot of men of influence, and I'm sure you do too. Absolutely. This longevity is a big thing. I had a conversation yesterday with the marketing director for UNICEF, and she was saying that, can you really live to be 130? And I said, absolutely. And she said, then what's the problem? And I said, our bodies are toxic. So you can't actually reverse the age of a cell or regenerate, or even if you work with mitochondria or telomeres, if you don't clean the body out first, then you're not able to do all these things. And one of the things that happened with me in a lab just years ago is I worked on a formula, and then when we got the lab results, the parasites left the cells, the viruses left the cells, the bacteria, the fungus left the cells, and the cell actually looked just like a newborn baby's cell. And this was a smoker that had COPD and cancer. And it was amazing. I was blown away. And this was like my first attempt at working on a formula that now I've revised many times, which Clean Slate derived from that. I've changed it by about 40 to 50 to 60%. I'm like you. I'm innovating. I'm changing. It's not good enough, right? We've got to, like for me, even if I have a solution, I look at other people's solutions equally. I try to keep my mind open, because I'm smart enough, and I know you are too, to know I have this piece to certain things, right? But I've got to partner with the right groups, not just scientists, but business people, innovators, people in finance, people with money. We all have to work together, because I always say I'm not a money person. Yes, I like to make money because it helps me get to do what I need to do. And from your history, I would probably say, and I don't know you that well yet, but I would say you're kind of like me, because you understand you have to be in business, you have to make money to achieve lifetime evolution and change. But longevity is coming up as a major theme no matter where I am. We talk about bioprinting. So you can bioprint a whole body. You can clone, right? You can't clone a brain. Well, you can clone a brain, but you can't clone emotions, right? So for example, one of the problems is you can actually have a brain, do bioprinting on a brain and make sure that that person's happy. But you can't make that person nice or kind. Like there's certain emotions, there's no way. And then the stabilization of that cloning and that bioprinting is not there yet. So there's lots of room, as you know, to grow.
And sometimes, it's pretty interesting to speak with such people as you, Christina. And for other people, it sounds, these thematics or these topics sounds like crazy, right? Yeah. So, but it's really happening.
It's really happening.
And this is happening because of such people who are doing that.
Right.
And this is, we're getting closer to the next chapter of
we are.
Our story actually. So once, we've been discussing with Sergei, with my partner, that we've reached some kind of a level when we want to give this contribution to the humankind somehow. Yeah. And once again, all our projects were fully self-funded. So honestly, we've never raised any capital. So there was everything built from scratch, and we decided to build a platform which is called WOIS. It stands for World of Impactful Speakers. Yeah. So we understand that there are a lot of people in the world which has their own impact. It doesn't mean that the impact should be on millions. The impact might be on some group of the people, or maybe you are the impactful person for some other people which you even don't know. Right. And our mission and our vision, we want to highlight these kind of people, because it's more or less impossible to know all these people, and we are creating this platform to highlight them, to show their stories, to share their values, and to connect and create the synergy between people. Because if we are talking about the same podcasters, like what is the chance that Joe Rogan would take a podcast on some of the great scientists? Maximum 200 people per year, but we all know that there is much more these influential people. So we're building or build this technology to highlight those people. And additional thing, that's through the technology, you can make it with one click of the button. We call our people who are talking on the platform speakers, who are making this impact. With the one click of the voice button, you are recording your voice and make it public, and each speaker is able to choose their own foundation which they want to contribute to. So through the advertising which we gain as a money, we will give a chance for each speaker to choose their own foundation, and all the money which will be generated, most probably 95%, will be sent to this foundation. This is like additional impact. And of course we have onboarding process with the foundation, so it's not like the money was sent somewhere. There was exact cases like which was helped, etc., etc. So the people are connected, and this is the safe place for the people to make an impact without additional noise. So this is what we are building, and so far we're 3 months live only. This is the mobile application. We have already 300 plus speakers. We have Olympic champions, we have Nobel laureate scientists who are shadowed, and we are making this happen. And such a wonderful people as you, Christina, is also a valuable speaker, and that's our honor to have you on board.
Thank you.
And we believe that together we can make this world to be a better place and to impact millions of lives.
Right. Well, thank you for thank you for the compliments. I'm not sure. Well, here's what I'll say. If I can be influential, and if I can use my education and my gifts that we all have, right, that if I can use that to help people and to help raise money, I'm all for that. And I really believe, and I've always said this, one of the issues with research and science, so you see something on the news and you're like, oh my gosh, is that possible? So I think the difference in my life is I have stayed in school my entire career. Even now, I'm helping build a medical school, medical program, and taking the classes while I'm doing it because I'm developing the program. It's a collaboration with the University of California accreditation program in the United States and Africa. So countries in Africa. And I did this back in the year 2000 through basically 2008 or 9, where I did a bunch of things for research and science over there. So, but what happens is information gets lost. It's not communicated globally. And then also, because my life has been so much in science, whether it was psychology, nanobiotechnology, bioscience engineering, human cloning, human molecular, it doesn't matter. That's what I've done. But because I really went from one thing to another, and I was never on social media until about, I was on Facebook with my older son because I had to be for a school program, but I wasn't on social media until I think 2017. And then really got off of it and then back on it, I think in 2019. I didn't really have a platform where I was talking because I was working for biotech and pharma. Yeah. Most of our stuff was secret, right? We have stockholders, we're not talking about it. It would be like if we collaborated in a project, we wouldn't launch it until we were ready, right? But like, for example, cloning has been going on for years. Bioprinting has been going on where you can take, you can just basically create an arm. You can create a brain, you can create a heart, organ transplants from animals to people. We've tried that for years. The ability to know what someone's thinking since the age of 2 has been going on for years. We're able to put people under machines and we know what they're thinking. We know if they had a cat when they were 2, what that cat was thinking, what that cat was feeling, or what they thought about the cat, what they felt, what the cat's name was. We are even able now to have devices on our ears where you can go into a room and know what everyone in this room is thinking, right? But the truth is, what's so interesting about this is people are blown away by this information, and they'll ask me, is that real? Or people will say, is time travel real? Well, yeah, in Germany in the 80s, they were taking an apple or an orange in 80 miles. You know, it was going in a split second. We have always had problems with it going back, right? But quantum physics, there's all kinds of things you have to work with on that. What's interesting, though, is you have these people like you, and I'm going to bring this back to you. You have these people like you that are outliers, that do things that are innovators, or they're pioneers that no one else is doing. They're able, in their environment, because all of our environments are so different. So what you can do in the United States, where we might be able to walk out and get Starbucks, versus Nigeria, for example, to develop a Starbucks chain is completely different than in the United States, right? Yeah. You've got these people that we do recognize. They've recognized it for years, that can basically know what other people are feeling, know what they're thinking. They can read their energy. They're almost like a machine. Now we understand it's because our cells talk. And there's certain people that are more evolved, so they understand this and they're able to process things quicker, and they're able to innovate things quicker. And so I would love to tell you that what you're doing, and not that I'm God in any way. I'm a person. I do believe in God, but I pray daily, and I try my best to do what's right. But I think there are people that are changing our world, evolving our world to be a better place. The issue is the platforms and the communication, getting the information out there, and being able to disseminate so that we can evolve quicker. So I love your platform, because if we can all somehow be a part of something that's changing our world and evolving our world to a better place, and I'm going to just say this, we've got to be faster. We're not fast enough. We're running out of meat. We're running out of nutrients. Our fruit that's on that table over there does not have the nutrients we need. So you and I have got to be faster at doing this. And I think your platform is amazing. I'd love to be a part of it. I'd love our company to be a part of it. I'd love to help not only educate and share the information that you and I know and others know, but help this world evolve quicker. That's what you're doing, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once again, that's a pleasure. It's all about the right people.
Yeah.
Right? So as you correctly mentioned, that we need to be faster, and we need to connect these people, and with the platform as well, where it's once again, not anyone can become a speaker. So we're getting away of the noise, because definitely we don't want to.
Well, you want the right people on there.
Discuss about the biotech with some random guy, but we want our values, and most valuable is our time as well. So we want to spend this time meaningfully. So this is what we are creating, this funnel. Plus, we are deleting all the language barriers. So if you can imagine, with the technology, we're able to make it worldwide. So you're speaking on your mother language, and the people in China, in Estonia, they understand on their mother language.
Great.
So there is no barriers, and we want to connect worldwide these kind of people to collaborate, to discuss the valuable topics, to raise those topics, so the people would know about that. Because most of the people don't know what we're doing. No. And when they hear such kind of stories, they think that this is miracles. Yeah. But it's happening, and someone is doing it. It's actually happening.
Yeah. I in the year 2000, I think in 1999, 2000, I started writing things on biological warfare, psychological warfare, and the changes of our world. And then I also wrote a lot about peacetime and how we would evolve. And it's interesting, because here we are in the year 2023. We've gone through a lot. When all this stuff happened, and believe me, I've told people this a lot, I don't know whether things were released at Wuhan on purpose or by accident. I know there was a lab there that we were doing retroviruses, because I was asked to work at that lab. I've done a lot with different governments and different labs. So I don't know whether it was on purpose or an accident, or it was just an evolution. I don't think it was just an evolution of a virus. I will tell you this, we've been working on things for years, not to hurt anyone, but to try, because you can give people a virus to help cure another virus, right? So there's all these things that the speculation came into play when all of this happened. I feel like we would have had a better educational system. For example, I've worked with so many pharmaceutical companies. Bristol Myers Squibb worked on, mRNA and different things for years for HIV and Hep C, and I was in science over there as well. We knew all these things, but there's never been this platform, honestly, and I've said this for years, that connects this education to the mass public. So, for example, you have the news, which I've traveled everywhere, you have too. Your news is so different in each country. It's a different spin, but you don't have this platform. And then another thing, I love what you're doing, because having spent a lot of time in China, Russia, Ukraine, Nigeria, just all over, there's such a time lapse when I'm educating or working in their systems to get to where we need to get to do something together, right?
Yeah.
So when I go over there, I'm in China for 3 weeks. Well, I would rather be there a week if I could have this, if they would have had the understanding before I got there.
Yeah.
And you're dependent on a translator. So if that translator doesn't know a medical term, this is a major issue, actually.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of translators that know biotech, nanobiotechnology, right?
Yeah.
Then you don't get anywhere.
Absolutely.
And so this is, to me, a phenomenal technology. It really is. How did you get to the realization that you needed to do this? Because I in my head, thought someone's just got to put this together at some point.
Yeah, so we feel it by ourselves as well, because we as an entrepreneurs, we know that there are many times when you're not able to talk about your inside things with your closest. Sometimes you need to find the right person, and we've been facing that a lot of people they cannot concentrate and bring this inside value on the other language, even if they speak well English. So
Right.
sometimes
Right.
they need to use the correct wordings. That's what you were saying. And that's definitely the point, and we've made a lot of researches as well from our side, and we truly understand that this is the people, what they're looking for and what they're waiting for, because they want to share this knowledge, but there are different
So this
situations.
so if I said, like, we're working with the P450 pathway, when I talk right now to a general audience, I don't use all this, right?
Yeah.
Because if I start talking about IL-2 and IL-4 integration, things like that, and P450 pathways of the body, you guys will be able to translate that to other scientists so they can work with me on a project.
Yep.
Wow. I need that. Because that's been, I would say, one of the biggest, because when I worked at biotech and pharma, you have these huge budgets, especially the companies I worked for. I worked, Pfizer, J&J, Biogen, IDEC, Alexion. We had huge budgets. And, well, I say huge. For an entrepreneur where I am now, it was huge. And we were able to work on teams. And then when we worked on government projects or whatever, again, you have these huge teams. Being able to take that entrepreneur, innovative spirit as a scientist and work with select scientists to change the world in a better way and to provide sustainability. I understand the discussions about depopulation. I was in Davos. I understand, that maybe there's 20 to 30% of the population that some people think it's not contributing to our world, but I also understand the ability for us to really support the people. This is, first of all, I don't want to get into too many ethics. I do believe that if you're on this earth, you should be doing positive things. I tell my children all the time, if you're here, you have to use your gifts. If you're a person, I believe this. Listen, there's a religious person in this country called Billy Graham. He used to be famous here. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah.
He woke up one night. He always tells this story, and I love this story. He woke up one night to his mother praying, "Dear God, if Billy does not live a positive life for you, to do good things for this world, please take him now." And so I used to tell my kids this story, and they were like, "Mom, that's a horrible story." And I always kind of looked up to him because we've had a lot of religious leaders in this country that have done some things that were not maybe the right way, but he really was respected by presidents, prime ministers, and kings all over the world, despite religion. It didn't matter what religion they were. And I loved his mother's prayer. because I really do think we've got to have everyone that's here on this earth living, contributing. But I also think that to do that, we've got to, like, one of the reasons I think people aren't producing is they're depressed, they don't have guidance, they don't know what to do. So we've got to clean people up and then support their lives. And I think your platform could help do that if we can quickly focus on those things, because I do believe we can have meat in 2030. I do believe that we can have vegetables and fruit with nutrients if we all work together.
Yeah.
But if we don't, there's a lot of truth to what some of these people are saying about we won't have enough food for people.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
What are your thoughts on that? I just want to hear that, because I know you've probably been exposed to a lot of the same things I have and a lot of the discussions.
Absolutely. So I think that's, once again, the key point here is like, we already discussed that we need to make it together, because
Yeah.
maybe it's to create some habits for the people, so
Yeah.
they understand that this is the correct way, actually.
Yeah.
So there might be a better way.
A better way, yeah.
And some of the people just don't realize that, so they think that all the unhappy stories or unhappy moments in their lives are happening because of some random things which are coming.
Yeah. Sometimes it's their fault.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as we say, first of all, you need to start from yourself.
Yeah.
And we're also pretty much deep in the psychotypes of the people, and we know that to understand the other people, you need to start from ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you understand yourself, you would understand the others.
Yeah.
And this is how we're trying to bring this idea to people, the closest people with whom we're working with, and that's the energy which we're exchanging, and we truly feel that this is the correct way about making the big things.
I also think your platform, though, will help people understand their own lives, but I think it's going to help them understand other cultures and countries. Like, I've had a unique, United States, a lot of people don't travel all over the world,
Yeah.
right? So being in 86, 87 countries and working with governments and different corporations, I've been exposed to a lot. So I see the reality. Like, I understand that when I go into Ghana, for example, or Bosnia, pick a country, right? It's not easy for me to fix a solution like a computer. I'll just use, let me fix this Mac computer. That's not going to happen like that over there. Where it might take us a couple hours in the United States, it's going to take weeks, months, or years. So being able to create a platform where you bring in influencers from all over, because that's your plan, right? Yeah. You can bring in a scientist from Nigeria that also explains to people, okay, I can't get into a cadaver lab to see if there's parasites in someone's brain in an autopsy, right? Whereas in the United States, you just order the autopsy, right? So I think this is going to be really an amazing platform. I would love to be involved in that project, because for years I've thought this was such a big issue. You have a way to treat cancer in, let me pick a country, Switzerland. I'll give you an example. Switzerland, Italy, compared to the United States, they're all different. And there's no platform that's connecting all the researchers and the scientists. Yeah. So you have the ability to do that. And not only that, because I believe in traditional treatments like pharmaceuticals and biotech, I do believe in nanotechnology. I think there's a need for it in certain platforms. I also think it's caused destruction with nuclear waste. I understand why it was developed, but I see both sides of that. But I think we have to start with longevity. And to start with longevity, we have to, because we want to live long and we want to have great lives, right? I'm speaking for you. I'm not interested in living a life that I'm not producing and I'm not doing things to help others.
Absolutely.
Or to create changes that are positive. So you have to start with your own body, like you said, understanding yourself, cleaning your cells out, supporting your cells. And really, that's where the root brands and the nutraceutical thing started with me, because rather than telling the world my full story and what I knew that would scare everyone. What do you mean there's labs all over the United States, or all over the world, right, that are working on these different things? It's a longer conversation, right? Yeah. I don't believe everybody did all these things to create evil. I think, unfortunately, there's good and bad, and I think innovation does come at a price. But I think that if we can work together for these positive things, and I think it starts with this communication and collaboration that we actually have not had anywhere.
Yeah.
We're listening to the news to get the answers to our health and to what we should do, or governments, and I'm not speaking bad about governments either. Yeah. We're doing that instead of listening to the people that really know the most. And the truth is, by the time something gets into the public, it's really about money, right? And I, fortunately or unfortunately, understand those discussions too, right? Because to be successful, to continue to make medication, to help people, there's these things that happen, and even there's some loss with innovation and with development of drugs and formulas. So I think your platform could really solve many of these issues. How long do you think that will take for that to be basically in use and being utilized?
Actually, it's already live.
Okay.
So we are moving fast. There are still a lot of developments which we would need to continue. So during this year, actually, we are planning to integrate all the major features which we are looking for, but currently the platform is live on iOS and Android, and we are starting our journey, so we are ready to go.
Patrick, why are we not working with this platform? You just say so. Why are
you already on it. He showed me videos of you.
What?
Yes.
Both living 120 years. So
am I on there?
Yeah, there was the only one video which will ask you to record. So that was the.
Oh wow.
That was the contribution. So basically everything which we need.
Well, now I'm understanding this. We will do more and more together. Yes, I did not understand to the full extent. This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. Hopefully we'll have time to talk outside of the podcast today. Are you so you leave on the
on a 13 or 14.
Okay. Perfect. So I have a pretty good open day tomorrow. I'll have time. Thank you. Thank you so much. So tell me, one last wrap up. What's your goal for the next 10 years? And I'm going to say this. I usually say what's your personal goal, but I'm asking what your goal is to help change this world in a positive place for future generations.
Yeah. So I think that currently the WOIS platform is what we're standing for, and to make it happen, and to make it hurt, and then we 300% sure that people, when they would understand, they would feel the value, and this is just about connecting with the correct people and to start that, because as you understand that from the beginning it's all the time very hard to start such kind of a big projects, but we're truly focused, and that's our goal for the closest future.
Have you tried our products yet? My products? And they're not mine. I mean, I made them, but they're ours. I mean, we all,
I've got just tried one.
I need to talk to you about really how they relate to different patents and different things I've done, so that we can educate people. It was a first step. It's kind of like what you're talking about. It's going to take a while to get to where we need to, but at one point in my life I approached things with just being mad and fighting things, and this is my approach to really helping us get to where we need to get. So we will definitely make sure you have all the products and work together in trying to really provide sustainability. And I'm going to say a special thank you on this to Yulia Stark, because I just think the world of her. And she brought us together. So thank you for being here with her. Hopefully, are you going to be at the dinner tonight?
Yes.
Hopefully I'll see you at the dinner. So, and then tomorrow. Thank you so much, Sergei.
Thank you the same.
I appreciate it.